So, speaking of like Halloween, have you ever dressed up as someone from a film or like recreated some kind of costume from a film?
Okay, I think you already know, or you can already guess probably where I'm going with this. But in grade six, my mom got myself and my sister robes so that we could be Harry Potter characters. I was Hermione, although
Oh,
I mean, I just like wore a little kind of schoolgirl skirt and then a robe, so I could have been anyone in the series. Um, I still actually have those robes, and they've gotten quite a bit of use over the past couple of years, even though, like, you would
oh,
think grade six, that's tiny, but, like, they were very large robes at the time. And, like, by this point, all of my friends have used those robes for some costume or other, because that's the kind of thing that's just, like, an easy costume, you know? If you're wearing robes, everyone's like, Hogwarts, you're from Harry Potter. Um, so that is the first thing that comes to mind. And then a couple years ago, I was Daenerys from Game of Thrones, and I didn't go like all out with like a wig or something, but I did fashion myself this kind of elaborate blue dress. And I did my hair very intricately. I took like a long time doing like all these braids and curling it. So those are the two things that I can think of because I feel like Daenerys has a very obvious or recognized look, mostly because of her hair.
but I didn't think you watched Game of
Oh, I don't.
Thrones.
It was
I just, like, I just want to point that out that you just,
yeah. Well,
you
it was
just
a
went
couple's
with
it was a couple's costume. My partner wanted to do it, and that's the kind of thing that's easy. You're like, oh, clearly you're both Game of Thrones characters, so it worked out.
Nice.
What about you?
I actually haven't dressed up as anyone from a film. I really don't think I have. I always go with like the classic slash the lazy option.
Like
So
cat?
I go for a
Which?
black cat. Yeah. Or although when I was a little kid, I think I was a pumpkin like 3 years in a row. Not because my parents didn't allow me to be something else. Allow, but
Cheryl,
that
you are a
sounds
pumpkin.
forceful. Yeah, just oh, that's kind of cute though. I think I just really liked the pumpkin costume because it's like also like very round and then it's also very like cozy. So I think I just really liked it. Maybe not 3 years in a row, but I definitely was a pumpkin with the exact same costume for at least 3 years. So that's kind of fun. I haven't dressed up in for Halloween in a long time though.
Well, it has been COVID. I did not
Yeah,
dress
but
up this year.
still. No, I even think in the last 5 years, I don't think I've
Oh
dressed up.
wow. You just have you
Yeah.
not like gone to Halloween parties or you go to them but no one's dressed up?
I think it's not like dressed up as something, but more like wearing a lot of black or doing crazy makeup. But I don't think I've dressed up as anything.
Right. Yeah. Every year I'm like, oh, I should do something like super fun and interesting for Halloween, but like it just takes a lot of brainstorming, time, potentially money if you have to buy a whole bunch of new stuff. So I'm just never motivated enough. But I do think it is fun to do like maybe wear all black and then do like a cool makeup look so that people will understand what you are, whether it's like a deer or like a vampire, a clown, something like that. I think that is fun.
Yeah. But what are favorite, like our favorite costumes for dressing up for Halloween aren't the same as like our favorite costumes for like
Yeah.
from movies because I kind of feel like my favorite costumes from movies aren't something that's recognizable, let's say. Like I loved the costume in Gossip Girl. I think that all of the outfits were really nice, but they were almost just like inspiration for everyday wear. And even then, like very aspirational inspiration because I can't afford those clothes because I'm not from Upper East Side. So I kind of feel like your like costumes for Halloween or the film inspired costumes for Halloween are so different than like your actual favorite costumes because I think there's a bit of a difference. So it's kind of a shame the best costumes or our favorite costumes aren't actually ever portrayed or recreated in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to dress up as one of my favorite costumes, like, from a movie, but especially for, like, Regency era costumes, like, I'm just not gonna do that. There is a YouTuber I watch, Jackie Wires, who does recreations of costumes from film and TV, and I love seeing what she does, but she does it, like, just to make a YouTube video. Like, she's not going about her daily life wearing these kinds of clothing. She just does it as inspiration for people. So I think that shows you, you know, even someone who, like, does this on a daily basis, that's not what her regular wardrobe looks like.
Yeah. I'm even thinking, like, for Halloween, like, wearing something from The Favorite or wearing something from, like, I don't know, Pride and Prejudice, Little Women, like, those aren't costumes that would scream, like, oh, I'm from The Favorite,
Yeah.
or I'm from whatever.
Yeah, you might just...
And also, it would be be so annoying. Like, imagine, not that we go trick-or-treating, but imagine going to, like, a Halloween party, or if you are trick-or-treating still, because trick-or-treating's for everyone. It would be so annoying to, like, have to, like, wear those long dresses and then, like, pick it up and, like, scamper around the streets for trick-or-treats.
In your corset.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah. I think there is some conversation around, like, whether corsets really were worn as much as they seem to be when we see these old period pieces.
Really?
Regency era. And this is a whole genre on YouTube. Like, if you are really interested in this, I recommend you looking up this kind of content, because there is so many people who, like, critique film and movies, especially ones that are, like, period pieces, and talking about the costumes and whether they actually were accurate. And I think that this is something that costume designers sort of do have to be careful of where the line is, like, wanting to be accurate to the period, but then also wanting it to feel, like, modern and fun. And Bridgerton is a great example of this, because I think it has gotten a lot of criticism around, you know, if it's accurate to the period, not just with costumes, but also with the music. A lot of, like, the music that they use in Bridgerton is from across the centuries. Like, it is not true to the period it was in. But I do think that they did that as intentional choices, because they wanted it to resonate with modern audiences. But a lot of people do critique that and say, like, you should stay accurate to the period.
So what is your favorite film costume design?
Well, I do love Bridgerton. I love period pieces. So Pride and Prejudice and Bridgerton, I feel like, are my favorites. But then also, of course, Little Women, like you mentioned, Shakespeare in Love. And we mentioned The Hunger Games. I think that like, they just have so much fun in The Hunger Games, because the costumes of the people who live in the capital are so outlandish. And then, of course, The Devil Wears Prada. I mean, it's a classic. Like, I feel like sometimes I watch that movie just to watch the clothing.
Yeah, that's so true. And also just, like, inspiration. Like I said before, I think all of my favorite films have also been discussed, like Devil Wears Prada, I like The Favorite, Gossip Girl. But I'm also even thinking, in general, I kind of like rom-com styles. Like, When Harry Met Sally, those, like, knit sweaters, those cable knit sweaters. Oh, I love those sweaters. And I know that we talked a little bit about fashion in When Harry Met Sally, and the fact that you kind of liked some of it and didn't like all of it. I loved all of it. I just love the cozy knits and that kind of vibe. I think it's, like, very autumn, and it's my favorite thing. But I don't think that When Harry Met Sally or, like, rom-coms are known for their costume design, but I kind of feel like costumes, when you like what the character is wearing and it's, like, everyday wear, I still like that costume design. I still think that costume designer did a great job, because I enjoy watching what that person's wearing.
Right.
So it's inspiration for me, and it makes me like the character more.
I remember when To All the Boys came out, To All the Boys I Loved Before, when that came out, people really loved her sense of style and her fashion, and she's supposed to be just like a regular high schooler who does have an interest in fashion. But that's the sort of thing where it's like, this is, you know, it's supposed to be just like a regular person, so you can take inspiration from them rather than something from the 1800s.
There we go. Costume design isn't just for storytelling, but it's also for pop culture and for fashion in general.
Yeah.
And I think that's really powerful because it's almost like a part of film can cross, I mean, film in general can cross really easily into pop culture and also cross really easily into art. But I love the fact that it really affects in a very tangible and visible way the way we dress and the way that we consider like how we represent ourselves and identity.